This might have been the weirdest first out of the action review with I'm Still Here, with some people just dogging me. I mean, hateful rhetoric. Like, I'm soulless. I have no soul. I'm a gringo. I'm an idiot. I don't know geography. Then you have other Brazilians like, it's his opinion. Calm down. He's American. He doesn't know the history of Brazil. Then you have other people attacking him going, he should know the history of Brazil. He's American. He's an idiot. It's like, you expect me to know the history of Brazil, Sri Lanka, India, Niger, Nigeria, Congo, Cameroon, Chad, Italy, Portugal, Canada, Chile, Paraguay, Argentina? No. But I'm here to watch a movie, and I'm Still Here is that movie. Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing I'm Still Here. So what's about? Pretty simple premise. This is based off a true story of a military dictatorship in Brazil from 1970, and we are fleshing this story out to 2014. My bad. So let me just discuss about me, an American, watching this movie. I didn't watch a trailer. I do that on purpose. I'm a person that I hate trailers to some extent, because it sometimes gets tiring, it takes the fun out of the movies, and you don't get the oh shit moments. And that's why, even though I'm Still Here is one of those ones where it's like it's an international film, I knew that, I'm going to try not to watch this trailer and just go in open-minded of where this story is going to take me. And with that, even out of the reaction, it felt like it was going to end in multiple spots because I didn't know the actual story, and people need to realize that it is okay for me to be like, it felt like 3 endings because how the filmmaker did it. And people are acting, how dare you say that? That's not saying it's a negative. People automatically assume the negative in people. We need to calm down, stop being hateful. The reason why I say that, and I think that's a positive, and why I say it's a positive, is because how it ends in the 1970s, of how we're doing this nice pan shot of her taking out the camera and showing it to the last house and showing, like, the friends waving goodbye and showing the street lamps and the beach and slowly fading to black. And for me, not knowing that this is based off a true family experience. Like I said, even out of the first reaction, I don't Google after the movies. I leave the theater, I go and do it right in my car of how it just started. Like, no reason for me to, like, have a bias or, like, oh, let me change my opinion. No, it's right after the theater. That's the whole point. And I think that's a good thing where you're thinking, oh, that's a smooth transition to 1995. And you're like, where's this story taking me? Because I didn't know, as an American, not knowing the history of Brazil. I shouldn't know the history of Brazil of that extent, because it's like telling the people in Brazil to know something that happened kind of, in the Americans from, like, the 40s or 50s or 60s or 70s. It's like something that happened, like, it's kind of minute, but a family story of, like, Iron Claw. Yes, not might be the same thing, but it kind of is. Iron Claw suicide. It's emotional impact. This is emotional impact as well. Someone getting taken away, but that's more suicide. I don't expect Brazilians or Portuguese or Chileans or Argentinians to know the story of Iron Claw, and that's okay. So it's like, live and let learn. Our Society of a Snow. To me, that is cinema. But anyway, so then we go to 1995 and talk about, okay, now this is where we're getting the death certificate, and how some comments are being very non-condescending, saying, hey, the reason why they did that is to show just the longevity of the 70s, this 25-year span of how long it took to actually get the death certificate. And I'm thinking, okay, and my conclusion is, we see a son in a wheelchair now, and you're just like, how did he get in a wheelchair? They don't really explain it. They explain there was an accident. Fair enough. And then you're like, okay, that's where the story is going to end, because we got this death certificate. We are finally kind of concluding this saga of the Brazilian government knowing that, he did die in our hands. You're thinking, okay, good. Then we go to 2014, and you're thinking, oh, the movie's not done. What else are they going to try to tell me? And that part is about the all-timers. And that's where Act 3, and I even said in my comments, Act 3 hit me the most, because any all-timers movies hits me hard, of just forgetting your past life or forgetting what you experienced is so fucking haunting to me, where you're just like, it hurts the soul. cancer movies hurts the soul. Kids with cancers hurt the soul. Those are the type of things that get me emotionally invested. Are human just tragedy of like just horrific accidents like The Impossible, or like Society of the Snow. And so this concludes with, her, I want to say forgetting who's around her, but you can kind of tell she just has a glare in her eyes. But it comes back when she sees something on the news article or on the television saying, her husband, uh, you know, is now, kind of died in the hands of the Brazilian government / military dictatorship in that prison, and no body has been found. And you're like, okay, so that is the arc. Again, saying it feels like it has 3 different endings isn't a freaking negative. It's just more saying, oh, where's the story going? Where's the story going? People say about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, where it's like there's so many endings. That's not a negative in my opinion, and people assume that. So when talking about the story itself, so let me just prove my point right now, going to this betting app, just to prove I'm a person that puts my money where my mouth is. And so let's go to activity, people. All right, I still have $25, but these are my odds. Yes, you might be mad at one of them. All right, okay, there we go. See, Debbie Moore. I'm sorry, I got her at 33% to win the Oscar. I do think it's the Jamie Lee Curtis effect. I have, Debbie Moore again. Then I have Honora winning Best Picture. I should have gotten at 18%. Then I have Nosferatu, cinematography, and look what I have right there. I have I'm Still Here winning. I put my money where my mouth is. I'm going more I'm Still Here than Emilia Perez. So saying that I hate this movie or I have no feels or no soul, I feel that's very disheartening because you don't know me of what I've experienced. And every time I tell you what I experienced with my sister dying from cancer at 26, you ignore it and still say I have no soul. I'm sorry. Stop being hateful. Stop being angry. It's okay for me to not say this is cinema. And that's okay if people from Brazil. I still have a bunch of Brazilian movies. I have City of God. I also have one about a corrupt police officer, one about a drug trade. It's like, oh my god, I'm gonna find it real quick. What's it called? See, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just showing you. I have some other Brazilian movies. Here's just one I just found real quick on the shelf. There have still some a lot boxed up, but City of God, Elite Squad. So it's acting like I don't like Brazilian films, or it's just like saying, I have no soul. It's just like, what are you guys talking about? You don't know me. Anyway, when talking about this film, it's a very subtle film. It's shot very well. I love the cinematography. I love the lens flare. I love the filter that they put on the camera to make it feel like the 70s. And when it changes to the 90s and then 2024 or 2014, sorry about that, it changes the look of the film. And I really dig that of how it absolutely looks. I do wish it explained more. I think that's where I get kind of like, about where it is a good 2 hour and 15-minute movie, but I would like more explanations of things that occur, of like, especially like, why the brother's in a wheelchair. I know that is not a huge like plot point, but if I'm supposed to connect with the family, it's like, I kind of want to know why this brother's in a wheelchair. And people say, I have no feels. It's one of the things where it's like, if you never experienced cancer in your family or Alzheimer's in your family, you're going to have a different connection with this movie. Me, I never had someone get taken away by the government and kind of go missing. I have more connections with suicide because my uncle, and I have other friends that committed suicide. Uncle lit himself on fire in Hawaii, committing suicide that way. So it's like things where it's like, if I don't emotionally connect with this movie because I don't experience it, that's just me personally. It's not an attack on the film, and saying I have no soul because of it is kind of messed up. Anyway, so I think the acting, Torres is a fantastic job, but again, I'm going Debbie Moore because of the Jamie Lee Curtis effect. If she's been to Hollywood for, Ghost, since G.I. Jane, since the 80s, 40 plus years, and she comes back with this tour de force, the Substance type of movie about body imagery in Hollywood, it kind of fits the mold. So I'm going to put it right there. The other actors, pretty well done. I do think some of the child actors were, overall a little bit annoying about the whole experience they're having. Yes, I feel like, maybe just me growing up, I've witnessed things of like, my parents are going to make it. They're going to go through a divorce, or I've noticed that. Maybe I just have a keen eye of like, things that are not happening right in the world. And it does explain it in this movie about when did you realize our dad isn't coming back. So I did like that aspect as well, when they actually explained it in the end. But at that time of the first, I'm going to call act, I was like, come on, kids. You kind of see what's going on in the world. Kind of like, maybe not. Also, someone did in the comments bring back the dog element. And I was a little bit confused about who killed the dog because, of course, you have the two characters in the Black Bug who never left, and you see a car driving away, and you don't really know whose car that was. It's like, was it the neighbor? Was it state sponsor? Was it trying to scare him? Could have been an accident? I don't know. Like I said, I'm an American that didn't experience in the 70s, and someone said, like, do your research of, like, it happened in the 70s. I know it happened in the 70s. That's why I was not born in the 70s. I was not living in Brazil in the 70s. That is why I don't know some of this information. Again, when you go in, American school system, you learn American history, you learn some kind of Mexican history, you learn like North American history. North America, Brazil, South American. And she, in this one comment, like, you don't know your geography. My fucking major is geospatial science. It's like, woman, stop being so fucking hated. Don't be, oh my, it's like, ugh. And thank God there are some people that are very nice. Like, also in college, I had to take Brazilian Portuguese for 2 years, but I only could do 1 year because I just couldn't learn it. And then I had to go to Portugal, and I lived in Portugal for 2 years for my job. And Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal Portuguese are completely kind of different. Then you have the Azorians Portuguese, which is kind of a mix of English. So I was like, but I tried my hardest. Anyway, I know this is not really about the movie. This is about just the overall what is happening with the comment section, what's happening with people about this film. And I think, yes, someone said they want this movie to win so they don't think themselves as like a carnival. And I understand that because when people think of Brazil, they either think of the favelas or they think of like carnival, spectaculars. I do remember one doc I did watch because we had to watch it when I was doing Brazilian Portuguese in college about the college. I want to say it's a scam, but how because Brazilians, I know for a fact, it could be white as me or like dark skin. Like it's a full spectrum Brazilians, and it's like how people fill out their college applications and how even though they might be white, they kind of put their darker skin to get into that college. I find that very fascinating that even Brazil had that issue, and kind of America has that issue as well. So there are freaking similarities. But overall, I'm still here. I think it's a well-crafted movie. I think it does its job right. I think it's really well acted. Again, I do think that it's not surface level, but you do just, you're focused on this family and, what happened to this mother again, in prison for about 10-ish plus days. But I do want to know more about why this happened. These, ambassadors, from different countries like Swiss and Germany, ambassadors getting abducted and what they're like. You don't really get that side of the story. You just kind of get that they're just freedom fighters trying to, I want to say overthrow the dictatorship, but, help other people just move around overall and getting news out to French organizations and like the New York Times. I do wish it kind of expanded more on that, but it was more of a family drama instead of the actual actions of the dictatorship. But I'm still here. It's still a well-crafted movie, and I enjoyed what I watched on screen. So I'm still here will receive a 4.5 out of 5 Futon. So he goes at 90%. So let's see the critics and user scores gave this one. So you have a 96% with the critics with 115 of them. Audience score 98% with over 250. Critic consensus. Carried along by Fernanda Torres' superb performance, I'm Still Here poignantly explores a nation's upheaval through one of the family's search for answers. I mean, yeah, very, very well thought out. Some of the critics, some people gave it a B+, some people gave it a 4 out of 4, 3.5 out of 4, solid, 4.5 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5. So yeah, there you go. 96, 98, 90. Chase out here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of these Bluetontopia. You Blue Futonians. Take watch. Have a great day. Watch this. Stay tomorrow, week, for a month, and a year from every single freak one of you. Peace and love, and rock out with your sock out. What does that have to do with this? Probably someone's going to say I have no soul now. Sorry.